again, everybody. I'm back out here once again on the tiny house build, working on these cabinets again. And like I said the last time, we've got these boards for our trim. They are too wide, and I have to cut them down. I don't have a table saw, and when I cut with a circular saw and I try to make a perfectly straight line, I usually do like this for some reason. I just can't get a perfectly straight line. It's kind of like I'm almost doing it on purpose, but I'm not. I'm actually trying. It just won't go straight. So, I need a table saw. I don't have a table saw. What I do have, I have an old saw. The bearing is a little, it needs oiled. It makes a little bit of noise. The bearing that is in here. And the blade is pretty old, but we're going to act like we didn't see that and just put that right back on. And I'm going to take this thing apart right here, try to get some oil in it, and also while I'm at it, I'm going to remove this guard. And we have a piece of plywood right here, and we're going to try to make a kind of like a homemade table saw of sorts that should make it possible for even me to cut a straight line on a board. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it too. But let's see if we can get this thing apart and try to maybe do a little bit of lubricating and getting it ready to be our table saw. Okay, the other one went in the trash. The motor bearings are bad in the other saw. This one, the motor bearings are good. Got a little bit of slop in the gears. It's not too bad. It runs. But the switch sticks on it. It usually sticks in the pulled position, so that works fine for us because we want it to be pulled all the time anyway. So I went ahead and just made sure that it wasn't going to pop back out, and I put a zip tie on it. So this way we should be ensured that our trigger will stay pulled. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift it up. There's already holes drilled in it. I think at one time I did, no, it wasn't a table saw that I did with it. This was the saw that I used when I was cutting up wood for the gasifier in my truck. When I was running my truck on wood there for a little while. I used this saw, and I had it mounted in a little jig that I could just kind of feed pieces of wood through and just kind of automated the process and made it a lot faster. But now it is going to be a table saw, so I'm going to still use these same screw holes. But what I have done over here, a 2 foot by 2 foot board, and I took my square and I set it on 12 inches over here so that it is exactly in the middle and it's square. So this is my cut line where the blade is going to be. The blade is actually going to be right here in the center. So what I need to do, since this one doesn't have a good trigger on it, I'm not going to use this one to cut the hole because originally what I was going to do, I was going to line up the blade like that, and I was going to screw this down, and then I was going to drop this whole unit down into it and cut it with it running. The problem is, with this all the way up and this blade on it, it still touches the ground, so I can't screw this on until there's a hole there. So, since I have to have a hole anyway, I'm going to use the good saw to cut the hole. Alright, this is my good saw. This is not being donated to the table saw project. So basically we want this saw to go into this hole like that and screw down. We need to make sure first that it is square. Just make sure that it is straight here. That there. Then we can screw it on there. I don't want to strip these because this wood is not great for screws. Should work. That's going to have to make its own way a little bit, but that's okay. Alright, so here we go. Of course I got the saw put in there. I'm going to take this out of the holder and make it easier. Okay, we got the saw put in here. Got the wire running up. I got a couple of 2x6s, one on each side, and a 2x4 down like this, just so that it's got something to sit on, because the saw sticks down. I mean, it's pretty much even with it. Yeah. So, yeah, it pretty much just sits on the handle of the saw and these. But here is the cord. I just cut it. I didn't cut it all the way in two. I'm leaving the neutral running through, and I'm going to cut the hot and then just splice my switch into the hot. That way I've got a switch here to turn it on and off with. And you see on that side that's one of the pallet boards. I put it on there. That way it has some strength this way. I'm going to put a board across here too, but I want to get the switch and everything hooked up too. So let's do that. Okay, so here you go. The hot's cut going through here. Neutral just goes straight through and is not interrupted at all. There's no ground in this wire. It's only a 2-prong plug, so there's no ground. But we got everything else hooked up. Okay, let's measure our board. This board right here. Okay. 3.5. Almost 1 3/4. Okay, so put this one. About there. And we'll try that, see if that will be about right. Enough to hold. Yeah. So now, when I run this through, right on there, yeah, it should work. Okay. Back y'all up in case there's any body parts or anything that flies. And let's see how this works. it is rubbing on the sides. That's what that sound is that you keep hearing. Wow, that is very loud, but it works. But I do believe I am going to move this outside because it's like 3 times as loud in here. So let's do that. So I would say that's a successful test of our homemade table saw. It works. It makes bigger boards into littler boards, so it does what it's supposed to do. Now it could definitely use a new blade. That blade is very dull. You can probably hear it struggling, but the cuts are straight and they look good. And I guess I got about in the middle of it because they look like they're all same size. So now we just need to see if we can trim these things out. Turned out all right anyway. I mean, it's not, I see a few things that I don't like about it, but like I'm not 100% sure about the placement of these knobs. These I like, but these I thought about maybe moving them out here, but then you'd be snagging on them all the time. At least they're kind of recessed back in here, but they work. And it's got the little groove like you see on regular cabinets that actually fits into the cabinet thing. But yeah, they are they're all put together, and I think they look decent. Kind of goes with the cabin kind of theme. Yeah, haven't even got the knob on that one yet. I'm going to have to get some kind of a latch to latch this one up because it's going to have the trash cans and stuff in it. But I think they turned out alright. Yeah, I'm satisfied with it. So I guess we built our own tool and then we cut our trim. There is going to be some trim to go on the sides or around this edge here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to use another thinner wood to do that part because it'll stick out too far. But yeah, that's another step toward getting it done. Alright, well, I guess that's going to be about it for this video. That's all I'm going to do today. Appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.